Jugones, este pasado fin de semana, sábado 9 y domingo 10 de diciembre de 2023, tuvieron lugar las finales del Mundial de Temtem. Antes de nada, aclarar que las imágenes que vais a ver son del canal oficial de Twitch de Temtem, @playtemtem. Seguida esta cuenta que es el portal de la escena competitiva de este MMO de colección de criaturas español. Subo este vídeo sin monetizar solo porque quiero que quede constancia de la historia que se hizo ayer y que todos los domadores podamos disfrutar de la primera final siempre que queramos. Desde Planeta Jugones felicitamos a Crema y a nuestro primer campeón mundial de Temtem. ¿Sabes ya quién es? Que disfrutes esta final al mejor de dos, jugón.
In the two games that he won in the winners finals, Tetoa, I think there is some opportunity for Tetoa to play a little bit, make things that were a little bit cleaner. We saw Zenmed onto two different targets in two different games that really didn't get any attacks off. And Aarrggnn does kind of struggle into the hypnotist play from the Moala there. So if Tetoa's a little bit cleaner with how he positions his board, he may be able to get something going here. But we do see, because I believe Aarrggnn is on winner side, he gets to choose. I don't believe there's a coin. Oh no, there is a coin flip in finals. So Aarrggnn did win, or did is blue side off of the coin flip here.
Yeah. Finals. So one thing that is very important to notice also, I think, is Aarrggn's board positioning has been immaculate so far in the games that he's played in winners finals, in winners finals and the winner side of the bracket. So even though that's Tetoa's main win con, it seems, is out board positioning the person that has been perfectly board positioning the whole game or the whole time, right? Now, given there's layers to these things, right? So even though Aarrggnn was reading the first layer consistently, saying, hey, let me bring my Potamus in on the Volcrane. Let me make sure this Potamus is always on the Volcrane board against Plat. Or, yeah, no, that was the main thing, right? I guess that was the set that he really showed off that skill. Tetoa can go a layer further and say, hey, I think he's going to bring in the Platymus on, let's say, my Tolkien. What if I bring in the Gazumo or the Mushuk instead?
Yeah, I don't think there's a player in the world right now that knows how to play their team, the extent of the limits of their speed, whether or not they're faster in a turn or not. A player who is rarely, I think, surprised by the results of individual turns, very in control, showing a very strong mastery of their own team. And that, I think, combined with the team that they've kind of been able to put together over on the side of the Clown team, that's kind of been carrying through this tournament. So you see no Tolkien off the lead here this time, a slightly different lead from Aarrggnn.
Yeah, no, I also really like this lead from Tetoa, right? Using the Scunch to kind of put immediate board presence, or to exert immediate board pressure, while also being able to threaten out this 2-vine. Gario, so I don't really know why they picked Gario. I guess really just making it so that they couldn't pick the thing that they second banned, but I don't know. We'll have to see, because this OCR pick is going to be very good into Tetoa's team.
Yeah, I also think just given the circumstances, right? You're playing against someone, as we start to get into the game here, you're playing against someone who has been playing a long day. It's really early where they are. They have to beat you 4 times. Just throw a bunch of different leads at them and try to see if you can kind of jostle things a little bit here. Force Tetoa to play a point while you just kind of gather a little more information. Take advantage of the advantage that you kind of rightfully earned by being so dominant in the tournament so far.
Yeah, no, for sure. Honestly, just the mere fact of being able to, the more things you stack onto Tetoa's mental, the better chance you're going to have at winning, right? A human brain can only think of so many things at one time. And if it gets to its limit, it's going to start missing out on very incidental, simple things or simple lines that you otherwise wouldn't be missing out on, right? And thank you everyone for coming to my small psychology TED Talk. But here we go. OCR coming out with the Tsunami, going into Scunch and Gario. Doing a decent amount of that Scunch, right? The freeze doesn't really matter much. We do see CPG. Aarrggnn saying, hey, you know what? I see the threat on this board, and it is not the Gario. I'm gonna go for this gun, trying to gut it down, get as much damage off on it as possible.
Yeah, we'll see the response here. This wrenching massage, will it KO Tuveen? This is actually a pretty important turn here. It looks like it did go down there. Yeah.
Yes,
so
it is very KO'd.
that is a nice take for Tetoa there. Like, that's really kind of very similar to his matching winners against Invincible, where he's able to get a quick KO out of that scunch. And now he's got a hold off, and he's one swap in away from having Ninja. Aarrggnn has decided essentially to trade the Tuveen's HP in response to getting more turns on the Ociara. So now he didn't have to swap the Ociara in and break his tempo turn 1. He'll be able to go to Serbatia's Wrath here, and the scunch is threatened out by a double with no like immediately like good swap-ins there. The one thing to be wary of, I suppose, would be that Gario can start to really push damage into Gazuma as well. Cold Geyser will deal a ton of damage, but I don't think Aarrggnn is too worried about letting the Gario stick around, because Platimus and Chimerian can deal with it so handily, especially because there's no Gazuma in the back to turn on Earthbreaker.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. We do see the Serbatios coming out from the side of Aarrggnn, getting that +1 special attack. We'll have to see how Tetoa responds. The Gazuma outspeeding the Scunch is pretty big there. Scunch not getting a second technique off means that that's just that much more damage not hitting the board, right? Gazuma taking a decent chunk from that Cold Geyser, but this Ociara is about to go crazy.
Yeah, a bit of a different look from the Clown team here, and a nice adjustment given the draft from Tetoa. So you see a lot of Ociaras go for Fake Beard so that they don't run out of stamina doing exactly what Aarrggnn is doing, right? But you see, because the morale boosting whip, which I think is a tech that helps against those like mimic trap plays that we've seen a lot of players use in this tournament. Now the Ociara actually doesn't have very much stamina of its own, so it's going to have to either swap out or take a turn to rest, and that is going to continue to break up Aarrggn's tempo. And this looks much better for Tetoa so far than either of the winner side games looked. Just going for value and pressing immediate damage. This Gario is getting a lot of value for Tetoa so far.
Oh yeah, for sure. I didn't think this Gario would be that good of a pick into Aarrggn's team just because it can't threaten the Ociara, but I am getting proven wrong. We do see the Chimerian swapping in for the Gazuma, trying to eat a possible CPG. We'll have to see. It does appear that this Ociara stayed in. Just a Water Blade, the Tuvine, very respectable damage right there. Trying to go for a mid-ground play, hitting Feathergat into the Chimerian, and we actually see Earthbreaker. He really just said, don't keep that Gazuma in. And he pulled the Jonathan Joestar of, I know what you're about to say, as he swaps in Chimerian. But yeah.
Okay, so this is weird. So I think if Chim gets... Oh man, because if Chim gets Glassblade off into Tuveen, does Glassblade Waterblade KO? If so, does Tetoa go for
way,
Peck?
Right?
Does Tetoa go for Peck to get over top? And there's no way Peck KOs Chimerian. There can't be, right?
There's no way.
Yeah. We could see a pivot out here.
I mean, I don't think Glassblade Waterblade kills though. That was Waterblade damage right there,
Yeah,
right?
Tetoa is very bulky as well on Tuveen compared to a lot of the other Tems. Does mean that that's a pretty safe. But then if Aarrggnn can swap in the Gazu and Tetoa isn't sure that they get this off, the Gario can start to run out of steam a little bit here. It's not like offensively threatened if Chim goes down, but it is like defensively threatened in the sense that an Ociara Platimus board late game just walls out Gario, and that means that like Tetoa doesn't really want to take Gario out. He needs to keep it in so that he can conserve things that are better into Ociara Plat in the late game, such as the Mashuk. He doesn't really want to show Mashuk in this game. But like Aarrggnn is like trying to get to this Tulkin in the back as quickly as he can, trying to get to this Mashuk with his Gazuma, and Tetoa is running out of gas to prevent that from happening.
Oh yes, for sure, right? Especially with Serbatios kind of being online as soon as Aarrggnn swaps out his Ociara here. Next time it comes in, it'll be online because of Hurry War. It could be very, 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 detrimental to Tetoa, right? We do see the Gazum or Platymus coming in here. A very good board state for the Platymus outside of the Tuvine, but Tuvine is already pretty chipped, so I don't think Aarrggn's the most worried about it. Also, we do have to mention, Oshiro's the main win con, right? And Mushuk's the only thing stopping that win con.
Nice catch.
Yeah,
Feather
that
Goblin
was
gonna go into the Platymus. That's big damage. One of the ways to deal with the Tolkien late game getting low now. Very nice looking helicopter kick here for Tetoa.
I mean, I don't
Turbine.
I don't necessarily know if Tolkien's a win con for Tetoa though, right? I stand by the fact that I think Mushuk's the win con.
So Tuvine's gonna come out here. It is Tolkien just coming in here, maybe to take an Aquatic Whirlwind or something, more of a sacrifice play here. Platymus Whirlwind does just line up the Tolkien. It doesn't actually take it down,
It doesn't
however.
KO. What?
But Chim
That's
with a
why.
follow-up CPG. No, that's actually onto Mashuk. Does Mashuk go for Turbo here? Nice Turbo from Tetoa. That's more the player who's been on the run here. This is a big play in the sense that
Oh
now,
my gosh.
now the Osiara is not safe into the Tolkien Tornado anymore.
Tetoa might just be the GOAT. Okay, sorry.
Really
I'm
dancing here for sure. This is now
I
a
see-
very
I
strong
see,
looking helicopter kick.
I see a good turbo play, and I can't help but to think about good turbo plays, you know?
Yep.
But yeah, no, like you said, the helicopter kick is looking very scary now, right? Not to mention that we can just kind of swap out that Tolkien into the back and leave it for later, right? Like, sure. Actually, no, Aquatic Whirlwind isn't even up yet. So if we think that we're going to outspeed the Glass Blade, or we don't even need to outspeed the Glass Blade. We just Fiery Soul Chimerian and then Heli Kick, right?
I think just heli kick, right? It's +3 speed from the turbo. It's gonna
You
outspeed
don't
Chimerian and
want-
Platymus most likely. So like
Well,
Gario can come in here, right?
you don't want Glass Blade outspeeding and killing Tolkien, though, right?
If Glass Blade, I mean, you swap Gario, I think, like you said. Like Tolkien can leave, Gario
think so.
can come in. This is actually going to be a swap from Aarrggnn to try and preserve the Chim for a little bit later. Let's see what Tolkien goes for here. It actually just
As we
fires
see the
Soul
puzzle into
Platymus.
Platymus.
Maybe calling a swap of some kind there. But the Platymus has no prio, so this
Yeah.
helicopter kick will stick. Oh, it does get the
Oh,
rocket
wait,
too,
we
actually.
lied.
Nice play by Aarrggnn. We lied, yeah.
Yeah, how does it feel to be a liar in front of hundreds of people?
But now we've got the heli kick. This is going to be a lot of chip into Gazu.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's a little bit weird about this play, right? Yes, you kill the Tolkien, but letting that Gazu take the chip when that's the thing that needs to kill the Mushuk is very weird. So it really comes down to, does this Gazu even outspeed the Mushuk in the first place, right?
So one of the differences with Aarrggn's team is that his Gazuma tends to be a little bit slower and bulkier. On the other
Really?
hand,
Okay.
Tetoa's team is also like quite slow and bulky as well. Obviously, the Osiara does not outspeed the Mushuk here, but the Gazuma Tornado could. It's close.
Dude, this Gario is actually goated, huh? It just like exerts so much pressure on this board. No matter what swaps in the Gazuma spot dies. Tuvine definitely will die, but like if you trade, oh, this is such a weird turn because Aarrggnn could swap in the Chimerian on the Cold Geyser. Tetoa predicting that could keep him Mushuk, but if Tetoa predicts Tetoa predicts Gazuma to stay in, then he wants to swap out Mushuk and sack the Tuvine. There are like 4 different outcomes that could happen this game, or different plays that could be taken, and 2 of them make Aarrggnn win, and 2 of them let Tetoa win.
Yeah. Wonder if we see Tetoa just go for the wastewater here. No, it's helicopter kick. That's
See,
not gonna be
helicopter
enough.
kick. I don't know what that play does for us, but
Cervatios comes out. So this is good chip into Mushuk in the sense that the NATO from Gazu. Oh, is the NATO
Definitely
down?
kills now.
The NATO's down.
the NATO's wait.
Yeah.
No, we just saw a swap in.
Oh,
NATO is not
last
down.
turn? No, NATO was up. Yeah, NATO was up. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think both of these players just like overread to heck and back, right? Like, I actually don't know who wins from this position.
Tetoa knows, based on this game, that based on winners finals, he knows that Chim's CPG is faster. If Chim outspeeds Mashuk with Glass Blade here, this is really quite disastrous for Tetoa.
Yeah, because then Tsunami just kills Tuvangario.
Yeah. And
Dude, this was such an
Gario can get well
insane game.
Is Mashuk
And
faster?
still not over.
No, the Water Blade goes first, and it KOs.
Wow.
Nice play by Aarrggnn. Again.
I would say well played by both of them, obviously.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that I don't even know what to say about that game. That it kind of speaks for itself. How well, like, because we were talking about how this was unfavored for Tetoa going into this, and Tetoa made it so close, right?
Muchísimas gracias por ver el primer asalto. Que disfrutes de la segunda ronda de la final del Mundial de Temtem entre Aarrggnn y Tetoa en el vídeo recomendado. Recuerda seguir a Temtem en Twitch y para todo de tus juegos favoritos de colección de criaturas en español, quédate aquí. Encuéntranos en Twitter, TikTok y Discord jugón. Speedy out y Temtem up.